Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have a kind of special review, so this is going to be another one of my sort of mini milestone reviews if you like. It's video number 1100 today, but we're also very close to the 4th anniversary of the channel. So I started the channel up on the 31st of July 2013 if I'm remembering correctly, so this video will publish maybe about 10 days or so before that actual anniversary, but since it was number 1100 I just thought I would kind of tie the two occasions together. So whether it's been likes, subscribes, shares, or whatever it is you've done to support the channel over the last 4 years, I just want to give a huge thank you to all of those of you who have supported. It's been really cool to meet some of you, to be shown around different places in the world, and to be sent some awesome beers by a number of you as well. So I just want to give a huge thank you to all of those of you who have supported the channel. And for this one I've chosen a really quite special brew from the guys at Weird Beer Brew Company down in London. So this is the one that they did actually for their 400th brew. So we're going to have a taste of the Opulence from Weird Beard, and this one is a vanilla Imperial Stout. It comes in at 10.9%, sorry, and it got rated 92 overall on Rate Beer. I think it was 96 within the style too, but this is a brewery who I've had some very positive experiences with in the past, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying this beer. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. It should be a really quite nice beer. So yeah, so anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Weird Beer before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you before. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Weird Beer Brewing Company then. So this brewery, as I've mentioned to you, is from West London, and it was started by two home brewers, Greg and Brian, who won quite a few awards and then decided that they wanted to turn professional. So the brewery are now based in the Boston Business Estate in Harwell in West London, and the guys say that their beers are inspired by the American and British craft beer movements, but they go out and actively promote their beers in a lot of different places, quite often around the London area, and I guess around loads of other places as well. You can find them doing tap takeovers and meet the brewers and all of these kind of things. So they're a very proactive brewery, but they're also very prolific as well. I can't actually remember if these guys do have a core range of beers, but if you keep an eye on their Facebook and things, they've always got new things coming available every couple of months. So this is a brewery that you really want to check out. London these days seems to be a very good craft beer city, and Weird Beard and Beavertown and guys like this, they've been around for the longer time, for a longer part of the time that's been going on, and they're a very established brewery, and in my experience they do some really good things as well. But the reason for the name Weird Beard was that in the early days a lot of them had very kind of interesting beards, big beards and things like this. I think that was the rule to actually be employed with them, was that you had to sport some kind of unusual facial hair, but that was the reason why they decided to call the company Weird Beard, and they've become really quite popular ever since then, and quite rightly in my opinion. But that's all you need to know about the brewery for just now, and if you want to read more about them, do check out the website and their Facebook page and things in the description below. But let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer. So I should also say that I actually got this beer from the corner shop in Crossgates over in Fife. I actually just found out there's a guy who owns a little convenience store there is starting to stock craft beer, so I went along to support him. So I'll put the link to his store in the description below, the Facebook page. So if you are watching from the sort of Fife, Edinburgh area in Scotland, do make sure you go and check out the corner shop in Crossgates. Some really nice stuff in there actually, and this is where I got this one. I got it for a good price as well. It was only £9 this, and it's a big 660ml bottle. But there you can see the nice artwork on this, the typical Weird Beard one. It says on the side here about the beer: should you wish to go beyond the realm of decadence, then Opulence would be pleased to make your acquaintance. To celebrate our 400th brew, we have lavishly beefed up our Old Faithful Decadence Stout. It is already a monstrously indulgent beer, but to mark the occasion we've supercharged the ABV and even added more creamy oats for fullness. But we were not going to stop there. Handfuls and handfuls of Madagascar's finest grade vanilla pods were hand sliced, caviar scraped and thrown into the mix, and to create a luscious, heady and downright dreamy tipple. The end result is everything we were going for and a whole lot more. Don your gold mask and have a ball. WeirdBeardBrewingCompany.com, and it tells you a little bit about the but the brewery on the side there, but that's just what I've gone through in the history section of this. But this is batch number 400, bottled on the 6th of February 2017, and it is good until the 6th of February 2021. But I just wanted to crack into this beer because I love vanilla, and I thought it would be an awesome Imperial Stout to try. And like I said, it's a cool beer to mark the fourth anniversary of the channel with. Let me just see if I can actually figure out how to get this guy open. I think it might be a bit troublesome actually, so we'll need to, maybe I'll need to actually edit this video down and just get the beer open. There we are, wait the now. Oh, there we are, got it open. There we are. Some of these wax bottle tops can be a little bit of a pain, but sometimes you just need to bear with it. But yeah, snap that off. Yeah, you can see. But yeah, we'll get this guy out then and into the glass. I thought I was going to have to pause the video there and actually edit it, but it should be alright. But as you could see, there wasn't much of a smoky opening on this one. And we'll get it out into the glass. I think I'll take this through after the review and share the rest with my dad, because as they always say, good beer should be shared. But yeah, that's a really cracking looking beer, this one. Just look at that. So, as you can see, and as you would expect from this beer, it's poured a lovely, dark, ebony rosewood colour. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there's no real transparency to that at all. If I hold it up to the light, there is a little bit of a ruby edge to it. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. The head is a solid finger, and it's a really, really frothy, kind of beigey tan head actually. It's a little bit more beige than it is tan, I would say, but it is leaning towards the darker side of beige, but it looks really nice. I'll just let you have a little look at the exact colour of that one there. I think the natural light coming in behind me has been a bit of a pain in this video, so I maybe need to use the video editing and just kind of brighten the video up a little bit, but it looks very, very nice. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on with this one. Oh yeah, that smells really nice. You get the vanilla right away on this, which is what you'd expect. I mean, it's a vanilla Imperial Stout, let's not be stupid. But that smells lovely. So yeah, as you would expect, you've got a lovely big kind of milky chocolate character coming out of this one. The vanilla just blends in with that really well. It's got a really lovely kind of creamy character to it. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of your beers before you get stuck into them. But this has got a lovely big aroma. It's not the most pungent of aromas, I would say. It's more a nice kind of big one that has just a lot of complexity to it. I mean, with this beer you get a lot of that vanilla, you get some nice kind of sweet milky chocolatey character. There's a little bit of a roasted kind of black malt element to it as well. Not really any coffee coming out of it, I think it's fair to say that. You can pick up a little bit of a sort of darker chocolate in there as well. But it smells really, really nice. There's a little bit of earthy hop coming out of there, but that's very, very kind of smooth. It's got a good bit of a kind of woody, sort of oaky note coming out of it as well, and that mixes in well with the vanilla. And you can smell just a little bit of a red candied fruit ester. Like I said, this beer, the aroma has a good bit of complexity to it, but it's not too heavy. It's not kind of all that heavy, or not all that kind of prominent in terms of the aroma. It's more just a nice kind of complex, subtle thing that's going on in this one. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you actually get stuck into it. But we're going to try this one now and see how we get on. So this one is the Opulence from Weird Beer Brewing Company in Hanwell in West London. So a big, as I said, this is review number 1100. A huge thank you to all those of you who followed the channel over the last 4 years. Slàinte. Yeah, that's a pretty damn good beer. It's actually a lot more kind of roasty and toasty than I was expecting it to be. But what you're going to notice about this one right away, it's got a huge, big, silky mouthfeel to it. That's a lovely, lovely beer, this one. If you get the chance to try this, just buy it up. I mean, I got it for a good price. I mean, £9 for basically 2 bottles of an Imperial Stout at 11%. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. I mean, when it's Weird Beer Brewing Company, you don't mind paying a little bit more because you know you are getting a quality product there. But yeah, that's good. It's not quite what I was expecting. I was definitely expecting this to be more of a kind of sweet Imperial Stout, if I'm honest with you, but it's got a nice bit of roasty bitter character there, just backing up, so it's really well balanced actually. Yeah, that's really good. So let's examine the flavour of this one then a little bit more closely. I can tell you right away from a few sips, this is pretty damn good. So in the middle of your palate, what you're going to feel with this, there's a really kind of quite prominent roasty, bitter, black malt character just kind of underpinning this beer. As it kind of mellows out a little bit, you can feel that just pushing its way out of the beer. But there's a good little bit of a kind of nice dark chocolatey character to this one. You can feel there's almost a little bit, it does have a little bit of a kind of coffee bean smoothness to it actually, but it doesn't have the kind of quite the earthiness and kind of floral character that you would expect of coffee beans, I would say. But it's certainly a lovely beer. You get a lot of the sweetness from this one in the beginning. You know, it comes in and it takes over your palate and you get this really dark flavour kind of dominating your palate. Then it mellows out a little bit and it starts to get sweeter, and as you progress further and further into the aftertaste, that's when you start to get more of these kind of roasted, bitter black malt characters coming out of this one. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the palate in this one, but for me it really is dominated by this nice big black roasted character. It's certainly not what I was expecting. I was expecting this to be a sort of sweeter Imperial Stout. I haven't actually tried the Decadent Stout from these guys, so I guess that's why it's a bit of an anomaly to me, this one. But as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate and let your whole mouth adjust to it. But with this, there's a good bit of a kind of dark treacle molasses sweetness there. You'll feel that just on top of this roasted black malt character in the middle of your tongue. There's a good bit of a kind of milky chocolate in there, and right in the middle of your palate, that's where you can feel this nice kind of vanilla pod flavour coming out. The vanilla sits there right in the middle of the tongue, and it gives the beer this really, really nice smoothness. It's almost like when you're in the middle of the tongue, you're really quite sweet, but as you move further and further out to the edges of the palate, that's where you start to get these nice kind of roasted black malt things that just kind of counteract that. It's really quite well balanced actually, and there's a good degree of complexity in this beer, so it does keep you on your toes, and that's what you want when you're paying this amount for a beer. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, I mean, that's a damn good beer. For me, as you move further and further into the aftertaste, there's a little bit of a kind of woody, I would say maybe oaky character. You can feel a little bit of an oaky, woody smoothness right in the middle of your palate, and there's maybe a wee bit of a kind of nutty undertone in there as well. But as I said, the main thing with the flavour on this one that surprised me was just how prominent these roasted black malts are. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the Decadence. That's one that I definitely need to try from these guys, having tried this one now. But I was just surprised at how dark leaning this beer was, because when you have a vanilla Imperial Stout, I would have thought you would expect something that's just a little bit kind of more leaning towards the sweet side of things like that. But regardless, you can argue about styles and things all day, but this is a really nice beer, and that is the main point, of course. On the hoppy side of things with this, in the back corners of the palate, there's a good little bit of earthy bitterness in there. Now I'm wondering again if there's a little bit of Fugelhop in there or some Kent Goldings or things. It's got that typical kind of ashy, earthy character that you expect of these English hops. So you feel that bitterness in the back corners of your palate. As you come further forward, it just starts to smooth out a little bit. And then around the front corner of your palate, you get just that little bit of earthiness, but you can feel that sort of ashy character in there as well, which makes me think there's some Fugel hops in there. As you go around the front curve of your palate, you can feel just a little bit of that kind of floral and grassy character that you expect of these hops as well. But the hops kind of work really well. The earthiness and the ashy character of the hops build a good bridge between the roasty black bitter malts in this, so it has a really good bridge between the malty and the hoppy parts of this beer. And there is a little degree of kind of red fruity ester coming out of the beer too. So yeah, if you just pay attention to that little oily bubble that comes out behind the very front curve of your tongue, that's where you'll get these nice fruity esters out of the beer. You can feel the beer warming up actually just a little bit. And as it starts to open up, that's when you get a little bit more of the vanilla. But I'm also finding that as I go further and further through this beer, those roasted black malts start to come out of this one a little bit more. It is actually starting to lean more towards the bitter side of things. But yeah, on the fruity side of things, this one, it's got a good little bit of a kind of raisiny and plummy character coming out of it as well. The red fruity esters do have a little degree of sharpness to them, and as you move further into the aftertaste, it does fade away, and that's when you get this more kind of figgy flavour out of it. But initially, it does start off quite sharp, but as I say, this is a really, really interesting beer. It's really nicely done. You wouldn't expect anything else from Weird Beard, of course, but I was just surprised with this. I was expecting it to be more of a kind of sweet imperial stout, but it definitely leans more towards the kind of roasty, bitter side of things, and the vanilla character, I think, is more of a kind of subtlety. You do get it right in the middle of your palate, but for me, it's more of a nice... it's more in the background a little bit than some of the other aspects of the flavour, but overall it is a really, really nice beer. But I would have expected the vanilla just to be a little bit more prominent in the flavour, but I mean, that doesn't matter. The fact is they've done a really nice beer and the vanilla is there, of course. So yeah, you know, you have to give a big thumbs up to Weird Beard Brewing Company on this one. They've produced another great beer, and I think this is my first one of their kind of special beers that they've done, and this was a good one to mark their 4th anniversary. Of course, you can't really say anything else other than that about this. In terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, I would say it's definitely a full-bodied beer. The carbonation on this one is quite smooth. It's got a really, really oily mouthfeel to it. It's got that really kind of silky smooth mouthfeel to it, definitely. Yeah, I think it's fair to say this is definitely a big oily mouthfeel beer, this one. There's a really nice, as I say, the hoppy character to this one does have a good bit of that ashy, earthy bitterness that you expect of the English hops. The malt base is interesting because it's got a decent balance between the nice roasted black malts, and then you've got the sweeter kind of brown sugars and chocolate and things like that. There's a good bit of dark chocolate actually comes out of this one. You get that sort of reddish fruity ester there. You can pick up the dark chocolate as you go further and further into the flavour of this one, and some of those roasted brown sugars as well. But you get a good balance between the sweeter aspects of the malt base and the roasted black malt backbone of this one, and there's a good little bit of sharpness from the red fruity esters as well, but it really leans towards that kind of roasted bitter side of things from the malt base. And the hops, of course, have their own bitterness as well, so it is quite a bitter imperial stout, this one, in the grand scheme of things. But another very, very solid beer from Weird Beard, and you know, for their 4th anniversary, you wouldn't expect anything less. So yeah, I think that's a good way to kind of sign off on this one. A really interesting beer, not quite what I was expecting. I thought it would be more of a kind of sweet imperial stout, but they've done a very good beer regardless. So if you like your imperial stouts to have a bit of vanilla in them and to lean towards the kind of roasty bitter side of things, I think this one is one that you're really going to enjoy. The vanilla really kind of comes out a little bit more in the aftertaste, and you can feel it just mixing in. I guess if you're familiar with the Decadent Stout from these guys, this is one you really are going to taste the vanilla a little bit more in this one than I've been picking up, but it's a really, really nice beer nonetheless. So yeah, if you get the chance to try this one, I highly recommend that you do. Weird Beard Brew Company, of course, are a very, very solid brewery from London, so if you are interested in English craft beer, then this is a brewery that I definitely recommend that you check out. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Thank you for your support over the last 4 years, of course. Make sure you check out the corner shop in Crossgates and Fife if you are watching from that area of Scotland. But thank you once again for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Weird Beard Brewing Company as well, but it's been really cool to try this one for review number 1100, and I do hope I can get a hold of the Sadako to review for you at some point in the very near future, but this one was very cool to review in the meantime. So until the next time, slange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Opulence and a Vanilla Imperial Stout from Weird Beard Brewing Company in Hanwell in West London. Cheers.